Is loyalty really still valid today? Are customers still loyal? Do they choose because of a loyalty program?
Well, I think the definition of loyalty, particularly in the airline space where we talked about frequent flyer programs, I think that definition has a trend of being outdated. I think people are not so keen anymore to earn their miles and wait 2-3 years to earn enough miles to redeem for a flight. The entire experience, I think the expectation is changing. But at the end, what do you try to achieve? You try to get the customer to come back to you. You want more business with that customer, so you need to engage with that customer. You need to engage and build a customer experience where you excite the customer. So loyalty in the old, I think the old concept of loyalty, earn miles, repurchase, is gone. Loyalty in a new world is the result of delivering a customer experience where people are engaged, are willing to come back, and feel treated individually. And I think the theme is coming here now. It's about personalization. Mm-hmm. It's about, I take Manish's example, the customer is king. But there's not just one monarchy with one king. There's millions of monarchies with kings that we want to try. So we need to understand the monarchy and we need to understand the customer. And only if we do that, then we can keep him loyal.
Do you have any speculation? Because I think it's very interesting that EasyJet, they haven't had a loyalty program. They've had this in place for years, this subscription program. Yeah. But now they have decided to add a loyalty program on top, which they are going to introduce earlier this year. Do you have any speculation what this will look like? Will this be a kind of points program? Will it be just to have this gamification impact? Or will it be something completely different?
Well, I think everybody tries to do something completely different. But at the end, it's about, counting certain activities, measuring interaction with the customers and incentivizing the customer to come back to you. I mean, there's competition out there. There's competition in the proliferation on loyalty programs. You can get loyalty programs in the airline space, in the airport space. You can get loyalty programs at the retailer, at the coffee shop. So everybody tries to differentiate. We'll yet to see what EasyJet comes up with. But I think the underlying reason is the interesting part of it. Why are they launching it? Why are low-cost or so-called low-cost carriers going into that model that may have 5 years ago said, it's just additional cost? I think this is the trend that you see in that industry. It's a new way of value generation. Mm-hmm. You don't use the concept of loyalty and customer engagement necessarily to lead only to the repurchase. You want to monetize on the amount of information that you collect in the course of interaction with the customer and utilize that for repurchase, but also for third-party revenues through a partner ecosystem or others. And I think that's where they want to go. I think it's more about the monetization of the information you can collect with your customers. Mm-hmm.
Markus, we talked a lot about technology already today, and Manish mentioned it in the beginning, Paul mentioned it, we talked about it this morning, the 50 years old technology. If we want to make all of these things work, personalization, still keep the human touch, get the customer in control, what role does technology play? Does it hinder us? Where does it help us? And where will it be going?
Well, I don't think it hinders us because I think it's there. I mean, the Google example by Kenny in the morning, I think tells you that technology is there in various forms. I think what hinders us is our own reluctance or the dependency on very complicated ecosystems to make those changes. We talked about baggage in the morning. Many airlines are testing, bag tags in a form that you don't have to print them anymore. But it only helps you if that infrastructure works, not just at your departure airport, but also at the destination airport. So I think it's about overcoming the reluctance, taking certain risks to implement the technology. And for us, from a solutions provider's view, be open and understand the trends in the market from a consumer perspective, but also from our customers' perspective, of where the main pain points are, and help deliver solutions that make this transition digestible, financially digestible, but also from a process digestible. Because it's a very fragile ecosystem, the airline ecosystem, right? A volcano can disrupt air traffic in the entire Europe. So we have to make sure that our solutions don't hurt the running systems, but improve it constantly. But I think technology will be the engine for that.
Does it mean we need more human touch, like Manish said? Is too much technology, too many, let's say, rights you have to fight for, or people are not allowed to decide? Someone missing who has a feeling for a situation that creates loyalty at the end?
Well, it's about the right human touch, right? You don't want to be touched all the time, right? And at the wrong spots, right? So I think it's about the right human touch and giving those people the right information at the right time. That's what we all, when we talk about personalization, it's about giving the right information to the right time to the right person. So
and technology can help with that.
And that's where technology comes into play. And if that information is then transferred by an individual in the right form, in a well-trained manner, I think then you win your customers, and that creates loyalty. And at the end brings you back and differentiates you perhaps from your next competitor.
Simon Miller from Berlin-Brandenburg Airport. You're talking about the personal touch and responding to delays, etc. But the movement is towards self-service baggage drop. There's no one there. The move is, you talked about robots, and I don't think a robot would be able to respond to this special event. How is that going to work with this automation of processes and also the using apps and using mobile devices if you don't have anybody to talk to anymore? There's no one at the airport, and how is it going to work together?
Well, I think it's again about the mix and catering to the situation. So if I'm as Paul, as you mentioned, if I can get the information reliably about what is happening next, giving me the certainty through a mobile device, I don't need to talk to anybody. If the mobile device tells me your flight is delayed, we are sorry. However, we have booked you in a hotel and the bus is departing in 20 minutes. And then given that all works, I don't need to talk to anybody. But the problem is, if anything fails in that process, because then you're lost and you don't rely on that information that you get on this mobile device. And then I think the personal interaction comes, and there again, the information that the individual gets to deliver to the customer has to be precise and correct. And I think this is where technology helps. Whether you want to have many of those people there, or whether you can automate it entirely, I think that's a solution that also depends on the cultural specifics in certain markets, right? I think if you go to the Middle East, personal interaction is still more important than automation. If you go to Japan, I think there's a mix. If you go to other markets, they're happy if they don't see anybody and can just go and swipe your phone and that's it, right? So I think that there's no right or wrong answer, but the only right answer is right information at the right time at the right channel.